like just wandering around. You know, it's a very, very pretty town, very pretty city. I like the food. I like most things about it.
Actually, I know, Sir Rice, that you once fancied a life as a pop star. Any regrets about that now?
Only briefly. I didn't ever think I would become one, but I did make a couple of records and nothing much happened. But I've then discovered that I met Andrew Lloyd Webber, and therefore we decided to try and write musicals, and that worked. That was successful eventually.
It definitely worked. How old were you when you met?
I met Andrew. I was 20, I think, 19, 20, yeah.
Because it definitely became a life in song and musicals.
Yes, yes, yes.
Which one of your lyrics are you the most proud of today?
Well, I don't really think of it like that. I think you think of a whole show sometimes. Does that show work? I think on record, the show that almost worked best was Chess with Bjorn and Benny. The best show so far, for me, I think is probably Evita. But The Lion King is probably the most successful. So there's quite a lot to choose from.
So through all, how does the writing process look like for you? Does it start with the tune or lyrics?
It starts with a story. You always have to have a good story. And the story is the key to everything. The story will inspire, you hope, the music and the words. And it doesn't really matter after you have the story. It doesn't really matter whether you then try and get the words written or the tune. It's the story that tells you everything, the mood of each scene, the characters. So, I mean, Evita and indeed Chess, I would come up with the storyline, and then the composer would write the music, and then I would put words to the music. But with Lion King, with Elton John, he would write the words, I would write the words first and then give it to him, and he would write the music afterwards, that way round. But again, the story comes first.
A key tool of writing lyrics is rhyming, of course. During your life, Timothy, have you found any words that is, could you say, unrhymable or impossible to rhyme with?
There are one or two words in English famously you can't rhyme with, but you can always play around with a rhyme and sometimes make up a word. But rhyming is good. You don't need it all the time. You need it at the right moment. And in a funny song, you need a lot of rhyme. Like in Chess, there's the Embassy Lament. Oh my dear, how boring he's this, and all that. It's not a pop song so much, but it's a lovely tune. But it's funny with a lot of rhymes. A song like Anthem, actually Anthem does have rhymes, but they're not the main point of it. It's the rhymes make the point of the song stronger, in my view.
So speaking of Chess, what was it like working with Bjorn and Benny?
Well, it was very nice. They were very nice people. They are very nice people, and you wouldn't imagine, if you didn't know them before, you wouldn't think they were like huge stars. They were just regular guys. And I think in Sweden people are less hysterical about music stars and things than they are in America or Britain. I mean, I would often walk around the street, you know, maybe to a restaurant or to a shop or something with Benny or with Bjorn, and it was sometimes, hey, Benny, but there was no panic, there was no rush, oh, it's Benny. Whereas in London, you would get probably much more attention, I think.
Well, we're Swedish.
Yeah,
that's the Swedish way.
I like that. I think somewhere I must have some Scandinavian blood with me.
You once said that Björn Ulvaeus is one of the most brilliant English lyric writers, and he's Swedish.
Yes, it's extraordinary. He has a very great command of the English language. I hear him in interviews now even talking about other things, and sometimes I think I don't understand that word and it's English. He does.
So how did you come about to work with Björn and Benny from the start?
Well, I had this idea for the story about the Cold War and chess and romance and love and Russia and America, and I didn't have anybody to write the music. Andrew was busy with, I think it's Cats, and then with Phantom of the Opera, and I was not involved with those. So I thought, well, who else could, I had the story, I thought, who else could possibly do it? And I had a connection with Stig Anderson, who was then their manager. And I said, could I meet Bjorn and Benny? He said, sure. So I came over and met Bjorn and Benny, and then I gave them the idea, which they liked.
And the rest is history.
I suppose so.
What's the strongest memory you have from that time when you worked with Chess?
Well, I think it was beginning to hear some of the stuff that we'd written be sung. I mean, I remember Tommy Shorbey singing the Anthem. I mean, unbelievable. He was so good. Everything he sang. I'm ashamed to say I did not know his work before, but he was a big star in Sweden already. And his voice, no one has sung Anthem better than him.
And the lyrics.
Oh,
she is eternal, long before nations' lines were drawn, when the flags flew, when the harvest stood, my land was born.
Oh, you know.
Amazing,
You've
yes.
heard it.
Definitely.
It's a good song, and it always goes down. I mean, plenty of people have sung it, and some of them are very good. The song always works well, but with Tommy, it's fantastic.
How do you feel about that more eternal aspect of your work, that your words will live on for generations?
Well, I don't know if they will. I mean, I hope they do, some of them, but I won't be around. But it's nice to know that something I wrote in the case of Anthem 40 years ago is still popular and still means something. And of course, stuff, Superstar, Joseph, older than that. So it's nice to think that my grandchildren, who are here in Stockholm with me at the moment, they will probably hear Anthem when they are my age.
And they will sit here and quote,
yes.
maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
And now Chess is going to Broadway, isn't it?
It is. It went to Broadway once before and did not do very well, I'm afraid. It was not a very good production.
When was that? How so?
Well, I don't know. It just a lot of things. We had a lot of bad luck with one director getting ill, and you know, the show having to be put on in a hurry in London. But the songs in America have always been popular, so maybe this time.
And at different times now, almost have a Cold War again.
Yes, it's funny that really. It's not quite the same, but it was quite funny because we set the show on Broadway in what was then the present day. So it was set in 1988, which was crazy because as we were doing the show, everything was changing. So it was out of date almost immediately, and we go, oh no, the Berlin Wall's coming down, this is terrible news, it's ruining our show. But of course, it was very important the Berlin Wall came down, it was good. But it was silly to try and make it contemporary. It's contemporary music, I think, it still is, the music sounds very contemporary, but the story is set in early 70s, and it should stay in the early 70s.
Now you're here in Sweden with the Chess in concert at Dalhalla.
Yes.
What do you think of Dalhalla as a concert venue?
I've never been there.
Oh, you've never been there? You're in for a
it.
treat.
I've seen it online, and everybody says it's very exciting, so I'm looking forward to that.
It's really, really special.
Yeah.
One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster. The monster temples, but the pearls ain't free. Hey, you find a guy in every golden cloister. A little flesh, a little history. I can feel an angel sliding up to me.
So what's next for Timothy Rice?
Oh, I don't know. I'm really not sure. I've got one or two ideas. I'm not in a desperate hurry to do something new. I'd like to see Chess on Broadway work. So there's quite a lot of work there. We've rewritten bits of it. And there's a new song. So I hope that will work.
new work? Do you think you're gonna write a new musical?
I've got a few ideas. I just don't know. I'll see how Chess goes on Broadway, and I'll know that by the end of the year. So I'll take a view at that point. Do I want to do something else? Maybe if it's a hit, we might do Chess in other countries, you know, the new version. But I've done enough, really. I think the world has had enough of my stuff.
Are you always looking for a good story, still?
Story is, sometimes I think, yeah, that would make a good musical. But, yeah, I'm not running around thinking, where's the next show?
Thank you so much, Sir Rice. It was wonderful to meet you. When will you be back in Sweden? I understand that you're here quite a lot.
Yes, I don't know. I mean, I expect quite soon. You know, just where are we now? This is happening in August. I might well be back before Christmas. I don't know.
Wonderful, and good luck with Chess in New York now.
You're very kind. Thank you.
Thank you.
It took time.